Coming up, Omar Carmona joins me. It's the week before the Super Bowl, and we discuss many, many things leading up to the game. You'll see. But before that, I want to take a second to remind you my other show on the YouTube channel, Running It Back. Its latest episode is up there. I have a discussion with Robert Pitti, Seattle comic, hospitable guy, and as you'll see, quite good at the Rotten Tomatoes head-to-head game. Go back and watch that episode. It is up and ready for you, so check it out. Also want to take a second to mention you can see me live on the road doing stand-up comedy again. Finally, it's been a while. I will be in Salt Lake City February 19th and 20th doing stand-up comedy. If you're in the area, hit it up. Check me out. Details to come as well. Gonna be fun. You'll see. But right now, it is the Sunday Night Talk. We are a week away from the biggest game of the season. Me and Omar break down prop bets, predictions, off-season moves, and the winner of the football movie bracket revealed all right here, right now. Let's go. All right, it is Sunday night. It is the Sunday before the Super Bowl. We still got a week to go. Omar Carmona joining me, as you have this whole season.
Whole season.
Yeah, we are 1 week away.
Coming to an end.
I know, I'm kind of sad already. We're on our countdown of our last Sunday Night Talks.
Yeah.
So it has been a long season, a long eventful season, but we still have the Super Bowl to go. So the biggest event of the season is yet to happen.
Yep.
Well,
ready.
Yeah, I think I'm ready too. I think everybody is ready to put a bow on this season and see what the last game has to offer. Bucks versus Chiefs. My opening question though to you, do you feel any different about this game this week than you did, say, last week at the end of the conference championship games?
I think it's fair to say yes, because I think when Brady makes his 10th Super Bowl, I think we all are like sort of clouded by emotion, you know, like, wow, like we may never see this again. You know, we'll see what Patrick Mahomes does in his career, very, very young career, but we're clouded by this certain emotion about a 43-year-old guy who just jumps to the NFC on his first try. He's now an NFC champion, equaling Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees just, you know, in one season. So I think we're very clouded, and it's hard to separate the emotion. But do I feel different? Look, I'm going to be rooting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but my gut is telling me that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to two-peat.
Yeah, I think we were all in a little bit of a awe state, honeymoon phase.
For sure.
Congratulatory phase of Tom Brady last week. And I think I'm with you a little bit in the sense I feel a little more logical headed this week, that we forget that, oh yeah, the Chiefs are awesome. Right. They could steamroll this team pretty easily.
They could.
Yeah, I think I'm coming back down to earth a little bit and thinking like, oh no, the Bucks have to get over defending Super Bowl champs and a super good offense that has been largely unstoppable, except for 2 fluke games all season long.
Right. And it's also, and I think we're also clouded by how great Mahomes is. Like he's great. Okay. I'm not saying he's not, but let's talk about this. He's got some great players with him. You know, he's got Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman. He's got the best tight end in football. I mean, maybe George Kittle has something to say about that, but in Kelsey, you know, a great offensive line, although I think they're a little banged up now, but he's got the weapons around him. So it's not like it's just Mahomes. I mean, Tyreek Hill can get open in a phone booth. You know what I mean? He
really can. He is uncoverable.
I don't think I've ever seen a player as uncoverable as Tyreek Hill. Sheer speed. So I think sometimes we get lost in that too when it comes to the Chiefs. But you know what? I mean, the Chiefs have played consistently all year long. But on the flip side, the Bucks are probably the hottest team in football, you know? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, the week in between the championship game and the Super Bowl game is always kind of tricky because our brains can't stop rolling down the road, and we think of all the storylines, we think of all the events, we think of all the potentials. I was thinking this with Kansas City since they've been so dominant this year. Their only two losses have been Vegas Raiders
Right.
and the Dolphins game, which arguably could have been a throwaway game. So I was thinking if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, you know how they get championship hats, championship t-shirts. What if the Las Vegas Raiders get some t-shirts and hats that say, "We beat the Super Bowl champions 2020"? What do you think about that idea for a team that only loses, say, 3 or less games in the regular season? Those 3 teams that beat them could get some championship gear too.
Maybe some swag. I wouldn't mind that. Like a little swag. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not, or at least maybe like a tramp stamp type tattoo.
Oh, that's right. It's like you want to wear this little kind of pseudo badge of honor.
Yeah,
You really got to wear it. You don't just get a t-shirt. You have to get a tattoo. It's like, "We beat the champs 2020."
I like that.
Not bad. That's pretty good. I like that indeed. I get the feeling we're going to have plenty to talk about with this Super Bowl in the coming week anyway. So I got a few thoughts for this in between week. Not to mention, we have a winner of the Super Bowl, or sorry, the football movie playoff bracket finally revealed. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. We got the week leading up to the Super Bowl. How are you prepping for the Super Bowl game? First of all, what are the different ways to watch the Super Bowl?
So there are a lot of different ways. Obviously, the big full blown party,
Super Bowl party, right?
big Super
Yes.
Bowl party.
Pros and cons to the Super Bowl party, I think.
Okay,
There's
okay. Well, here's the con. If you host it, you got to clean up afterwards, and that's just miserable. You know, everyone's using your crapper. They're getting things are getting spilled, and these food on the floor. I don't like hosting Super Bowl parties myself, but I eventually have fun. Go to a big Super Bowl party, but also, I mean, sometimes it just seems like there's too much. There's so many people. Some you haven't seen in a long time. So you're. It always seems to me that the Super Bowl just is super fast. It's like it just goes by really quick because I'm visiting with so many people and I'm not really paying attention to the game. Now, I will say 1 year I made an effort to watch it, and I was married with, had one kid at that point, and I watched it totally alone. I bought a few deli sandwiches, some chips, some club soda, and I watched it alone. And you know what? The game was terrible. It was the Broncos Panthers, Super Bowl 50.
Oh yeah.
Terrible game, but nonetheless, I really felt that I got the full Super Bowl experience, the game, the commercials, the halftime show, the post-game celebration. I really felt I really got into that Super Bowl. So maybe one day I'll do that again.
Yeah, that is true. The pro con, the big party, you've got potential for food is the one pro. Of course, the party atmosphere, is another pro. The con, like you said, cleaning up. The other con I would say is you kind of watch 45% of the game that way.
Right.
You're visiting with people. Sometimes the volume is not that high because people are talking. So it's not like you're hearing everything. You're catching some of the commercials here and there. You're running around. There's a definite art form to the big Super Bowl party. I have also done the watch the Super Bowl alone thing like you have. And I said the same thing. I was like, I'm going to watch it. I can listen to all the commercials. I can hear the announcers. I can really dig into the game. And it is kind of different. I ordered my pizza. It arrived there. I think I watched Packers Steelers from maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
That would have been 11. That would have been 11 years ago.
It would have been 11. Ah, you're right. Yeah, I think I watched that one, and it was still enjoyable in a sense. These
10 years.
these days,
Yeah.
these days with YouTube and things easily recorded, you can go back and watch it. Back in the day, you had to like put a physical VHS tape
Right.
in the player and then record it. But
And
luckily, we have the ability to rewatch all the commercials and stuff very easily.
hope no relative would record something over it.
Right, right. There was always potential to get your favorite basketball game, football game, movie that happened to come on HBO recorded over.
Shit happens.
Always, always that potential. How about this year? Do you have plans for Super Bowl viewing? Do you know what you're going to do yet?
So there's a few. The option is either watch it alone, just with the family here at the house, and that's I would never turn my back on that option. Something came up today, and obviously the pandemic's making things very different, but there's a nice family that invited us, and the reason why this is appealing to us is because our kids are in the same class. They hang out together. They're on the same basketball team, so I mean, it's like the same circle of germs that we would. I mean, we're not, there wouldn't be any outsiders. It's three families. We get together, and then the kids are, and then it's the good thing about that plan is that the kids are all going to have friends there, so they're not really going to be bothering the adults during the game.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
that's a good strategy. Have kids over that are already friends with your kid.
yeah, I don't see any other way around it.
Mm-hmm.
You just let them play, and you know,
Maybe
and
that's starting to make more sense now. Why, as kids, my parents would always have you over to the
right,
Super Bowl party, and then you and I would probably not bother our own parents.
right.
Maybe it's coming full circle.
And that's exactly why I think I was always at your house. I was a welcome. I was your mom and dad get very excited when they saw me because hey, this guy's gonna keep Patrick entertained for the next 4 hours.
Yeah, that's right. Keep that kid outside.
Yeah,
That's good potential.
It'd be freezing outside, and we'd still be outside, and all the adults were inside warm and on a couch watching the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as a kid, probably up until 10 or 12 years old, I didn't even watch the Super Bowl because you end up outside the whole time, running around, playing, wrestling each other in the yard. It just happens to have a Super Bowl going on
Yep.
inside, and you just sort of hear cheers and stuff as it goes on. So there's a lot of ways to view the Super Bowl. This year is going to be kind of different because we're probably going to see far less Super Bowl parties. So
Oh
we
yeah.
might have a little bit more intensive viewing. I'm curious how it's all going to go down. I think I'm going to end up doing the solo thing this year. I mean, I already live alone. I don't live with family and stuff. So my solo potential is already high, but I do want to get the food right. I do want to have a good spread of food to watch the game and stuff. I want to have my notebook ready so I have stuff to talk about,
Yeah, that'd be
things
good.
like that. So that's going to be my approach. Here's my other question though. How are you prepping for the Super Bowl coming up this week? Let me tell you what I did. Tell me if you went the same way or another direction. I watched the Super Bowl where the Patriots play the Eagles, the very first one where it was Andy Reid versus Tom Brady and Bill Belichick going for their third.
The game where the Terrell Owens was the real MVP.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting game. Number one, Terrell Owens has like a broken foot and he's playing
Right.
like he has 3 feet.
Right.
What else is going? Oh, that game starts the fourth quarter tied. I don't remember that game being close, and yet it starts the fourth quarter tied.
Patriots have had a long history with Tom Brady that although they have these great regular season records and great dominating playoff runs, they always had close Super Bowls, which is amazing. I mean, every Super Bowl was extremely close. In fact, I want to say, is it possible to think that maybe every Super Bowl has been decided by less than a score or less? I forget what.
Yeah, what's been their biggest blowout Super Bowl? I can't even.
I mean, maybe would it be when they beat the Rams 10-3 or 13-3? That's a 10-point game. So I think that's been their biggest blowout. Remember, they beat the Falcons by 6 in overtime. They need that last second interception to beat the Seahawks.
Right, forgot about the Seahawks. Yep.
They a close game against Philadelphia. Philadelphia had a chance at the end. I mean, they were pretty. That's the game where I think the one you want to talk about is the one where Donovan McNabb was gassed, and they said that his teammates were saying he vomited and he just looked out of shape.
Yes,
He couldn't
that's the game.
stick around. They needed a last-second field goal to beat the Panthers. They needed a last-second field goal to beat the Rams. So they always play very close Super Bowls. The ones they lost, think about it. The Giants, the helmet catch, and then the game-winning catch to Plexico.
Right.
They need a miracle Eli Manning to Mario Manningham throw. Another Giants over Patriots game, and 41-33. They're still within a score. Nick Foles beats Tom Brady. So it's always a close game when the Patriots are in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we if trends hold up, we're in store for another fun Super Bowl.
Or maybe hold up. Or maybe because Tom Brady is away from Bill Belichick, they're going to open it up and he's going to finally blow someone out. Who knows?
Or maybe we're due a huge blowout too. Yeah. So I prep by watching old Super Bowls. I watched that game.
Let me ask you this really quick. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You watch the whole Super Bowl? Because what I like is I know on ESPN2, and you know this, in the days leading up, and I'm not sure it'd be this early, but they have the 30-minute NFL films Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, those are great.
I love those. Because it has the best quotes, it has the best plays, it has the best snapshots and whatnot. Those are the highlights I like watching.
Yeah, that's true. We're almost kind of spoiled with YouTube because we type in whatever we want and chances are exactly what we want comes up.
Yeah, right.
Whereas in the cable TV days, you would just flip on ESPN. I don't even know if ESPN Classic is a thing anymore, but ESPN Classic, you would flip it on. Yeah, you would flip it on the day before the Super Bowl, and they would be doing the 30-minute highlight shows, like you said, and they'd be on Super Bowl 7, and you'd be like, oh, we've got 2 hours to go of Super Bowls that they're on 7. We got, at least 10 years before we get to the 80s. Right. So that was kind of a fun treat. You would watch the little 30-minute programs of the little highlights of all the Super Bowls leading up to the big game. Whereas on YouTube now, you can find the whole game.
Right.
You can find a 25-minute highlight video
for sure
of it as well. I like the whole game. In that, a couple interesting things in that Patriots Eagles Andy Reid one is it was on, I want to say Fox, and the announcers were Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and Chris Collinsworth, all in the same booth.
Yep.
Yeah. That was kind of a weird mix. I kind of liked it, kind of putting all the all-stars together. And nowadays would be really interesting. Kind of a cross-pollination would be kind of fun if you had Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Yep.
Kind of cool. And then this rule I was thinking about, they were making a point of saying for some catches along the sideline that, do you remember the force out rule? The force out rule was if the receiver jumped and the DB forced them out, the ref would make the determination, well, he would have landed in bounds had it not been for the DB, therefore it could be catch. I can't believe we never had a huge controversy on the force out rules over the years. Luckily, that got rid of that before we hit nuclear football winter. But that was a weird rule. I can't believe we had that rule for so long.
Extremely weird rule. But yeah, that's the way it was like. That's absolutely true.
The force out rule. I can't believe that was even a rule. That seems like such a silly rule. It's like, well, he would have come down in bounds. Therefore, I'm going to call this a catch. So I watched that Super Bowl. Then I watched the Bucs Raiders one. I wanted to see the last time the Bucs were in a Super Bowl. Remarkably boring game.
Remarkably boring game. Yes. I saw highlights of that. I think they had one of those 30-minute shows on. I saw it just maybe 2 nights ago. I didn't realize how many pick sixes Rich Gannon threw that.
It's a barrage of turnovers at one point in the second quarter. The game is so bad. And it ironically starts with the Raiders interception of Brad Johnson, the Bucs QB.
Right.
And you're like, all right, here we go. And then it flips quickly. And it's and then I feel bad as a Raiders fan. I feel kind of responsible because Jerry Rice is on that Raiders team. I
Mhm.
kind of feel responsible for tainting Jerry Rice's career a little bit as far as his Super Bowl record.
He was already slow. He was already slow.
He was on the tail end of his career, still productive, but he wasn't the old Jerry Rice, but he was still good. And I feel bad that we gave him a Super Bowl loss.
Yeah. Well,
I almost don't want to count it.
he had a few in San Francisco, so he did okay.
Yeah, definitely. Then I watched the 2 Giants Patriots Super Bowls. And now I'm led to the question, what's Eli Manning's legacy? What's the Eli conversation? He is the only guy to beat Tom Brady in a Super. Am I leaving out another Patriots loss?
Yeah, the Nick Foles.
That's right. Okay. Take that one into consideration as well. But Eli Manning has Tom Brady's number twice. And these aren't like lucky Giants had a great defense. Eli Manning.
Oh, well, luck. I mean, that helmet catch was probably the luckiest thing you will ever. I mean, it's
getting
just,
out of the sack too, you might say, could have been a stroke of luck as well. That's true.
I mean, then again, Tom Brady benefited from that Julian Edelman catch against the Falcons that kept the drive going. But that, and then that was just a crazy play in that I think it was Justin Tuck that was gonna sack Eli Manning, or it was one of those. Or was it?
Yeah, who was it? Yeah, I can't remember. And that was they're
literally pushing his shoulder back, and he just brushes him off, and then he goes and he fires that pass. And Rodney Harrison, who was a fantastic defender, he just couldn't knock that ball down.
Yeah. So it's one of the greatest. But it's great, but it's also weird because it's a weird catch. It's a sack that should be a sack that doesn't happen. It's a weird play that Eli makes, and then the Plexico Burress touchdown a few plays later. Which one is the undefeated Patriots season that the Giants?
It was
the first one.
Yeah, the first one.
The first one. Okay, and then the second one, another Eli, a couple big Eli plays to win that game. So now my question is Eli Manning Tom Brady's white whale? Does it stick with him that he never beat him?
It has to, because I think you see all those goofy pictures of Eli on the sideline, and that face of he definitely no Tom Brady. Let's just put it that way,
Right. And you could not find a more opposite Tom Brady to go against.
And that's what it is. But you know what? And it feeds into that rivalry. It was Boston versus New York. You know what I mean? It's still that fierce rival. And, Patriots fans hate the Giants. Giants fans hate the Patriots, So definitely, yeah. You know what? When you go 2-0 against the GOAT, you have something to say. I know this is such a heated debate. It's a debate whether or not he's a Hall of Famer, because, man, his last few seasons were just terrible. Yeah. I'm going to say that it was because of a lack of weapons, to a certain degree, and bad coaching. But you know what? It was I think he definitely is that unicorn that Tom Brady could never get over.
Yeah, they're kind of, and then I think this has got to be Eli's ultimate legacy. 2-0 in the Super Bowl versus the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. That's what you put on the mantle, right?
Greatest quarterback, greatest coach combination of all time. So it's something to think about. Yeah. That alone gets you a gold jacket, in my opinion.
That's fair. If you want to make the Eli argument against Hall of Fame, that's what I would point to. I would be like 2-0 in the Super Bowl.
Let me stop you right there. And I don't mean to go off script. You may want to write some of these down, but we got the Hall of Fame announcement coming up very shortly. Okay. And I want you to name, there's 15 guys on the ballot. Okay. They're going to take 5 of them from this list. Obviously there's some veterans and, the coach contributor and all this stuff, but I want to name you the 15 and you need to pick 5.
Okay.
Can we do this?
Do we know, but we don't know the 5 who are getting in yet. We're predicting the 5.
We're predicting.
Okay. So,
you got a pen?
I'm ready.
Okay. I'm going to go alphabetically. So we go Jared Allen, Rondé Barber, Tony Baselli, Leroy Butler, Alan Faneca, Torrey Holt, Calvin Johnson, John Lynch, Peyton Manning, Clay Matthews, Sam Mills, Richard Seymour, Zach Thomas, Reggie Wayne, and Charles Woodson. Now, let me start by saying this. This is crazy to me because I remember when a lot of these guys were drafted.
Chapter 2 of our book of Why I Hate Sports, Hall of Famers that I remember whose career I started with.
Right. So we're old, okay? We're old. But now we can obviously, there's I think 2 glaring first timers that are going in. Maybe a third. Peyton Manning's going into the Hall of Fame. I think
that's a given. Yep.
I think Charles Woodson is going into the Hall of Fame.
Agreed. Yep.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me go through do I already have my 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. I need one more. Hold on. I'm going to go.
Read me your list.
Okay. Jared Allen, no. Tony Baselli, yes. John Lynch, yes. Peyton Manning, yes. Charles Woodson, yes. And I need one more.
Interesting.
I'm going to go okay, that was Sam Mills. Who was the guy after Peyton Manning that you read?
Clay Matthews.
Oh, that's right. Oh no, Clay. That's
Clay
the dad, right?
It was the dad, yeah.
That one. He's going in. I'm going with that guy. Those are my 5. Baselli, Lynch, Manning, Matthews, Charles Woodson.
Okay. I want to go Peyton Manning.
Yep.
I want to go Charles Woodson. We've established that. The third guy that I thought was a for sure, which I'm surprised he's not on your list. I think even though there could have been he wasn't there a long time, but I want to put this with Terrell Davis, Calvin Johnson. I mean,
I'm blanking on him. Who's Calvin Johnson?
Megatron.
He's up for the Hall of Fame. Does he have like a lot of career stats? I can't remember him ever.
He's got all the stats. He was on pace to really threaten Jerry Rice at one point.
Okay.
Now, granted, he only played 9 seasons, and he played in Detroit. It's kind of that Barry Sanders thing that he played in Detroit. Then he said, you know what, guys, you're not making this any easier on me. I'm out. Okay, I'm done with football.
That's true. Barry Sanders was the ultimate mic drop. I'm retiring. I'm done. I'm done after this.
And I actually think right behind him, another receiver, Reggie Wayne, put up some gaudy numbers, but that was Peyton Manning too that obviously helped him.
Oh, Reggie Wayne, okay.
And I do like your other pick. I do like Baselli. That guy was one.
I think there's some love for the offensive linemen. I think there's a little bit of a push for the offensive linemen who have had long careers.
I hope Baselli and Baselli's another one that his career was kind of cut short as well. But that mid 90s to early 2000, he was one dominant offensive lineman. I mean, no one was getting to the quarterback with him on the line. So those are my Hall of Fame predictions.
Who were your 5 again? You went Chad Johnson, Manning, Woodson, Reggie Wayne.
Calvin Johnson.
Oh, Calvin Johnson. That's right.
Peyton Manning, Reggie Wayne, Charles Woodson, Tony Baselli.
Oh, where am I different? Oh, Baselli. We had the same pick there. So we only differ on 1.
2.
All right, this will be interesting to see who gets what.
Because we differ.
Oh, yeah, 2. You went Reggie Wayne and Calvin Johnson. I did not.
You went Clay Matthews and yeah.
Right. Oh, that will be interesting to see who gets in to the Hall of Fame. So the way it works is they choose 15 and then they got to vote on 5.
And then in the Veterans Committee, as the finalists are the coach, contributor, senior categories, Tom Flores, you're Tom Flores.
So there's more than players.
Bill Nunn and Drew Pearson. Those are for the seniors. They're the guys that have, they're off the modern era ballots now. And I guess you have like this whole revote on guys that have been, their candidacy was cast aside.
It's good that they separate the players from the coaches, or I don't know if they do, but I think because the players are gonna mop up all the votes. over the
Right.
coaches. So it's
They,
good
they,
they
they, they
separated.
vote them separately. So there's going to be two there that they pick.
Hey, you know what? I would like to see maybe next ballot. I want to see Jared Allen get in just so he can put on the gold jacket and then on his Hall of Fame speech, rip the sleeves off. And he has like a Hall of Fame vest jacket.
That'd be cool.
That has to happen if he gets in. It's got to be. You know, Deion Sanders put a do-rag on his bust of the helmet he had. This is what Jared Allen's got to do. He's got to rip the sleeves off the Hall of Fame gold jacket. I think that would be only fitting. That would be excellent. All right, good. We got something to watch there. Here's the last thing I watched, or I have been watching to prep for the Super Bowl. The old quarterback challenges. I've been watching those on YouTube. I've been watching, some that's the closest thing we sort of have to the wide world of sports. Right. Remember back in the day when like Bruce Jenner would race Lynn Swann in a 100-meter dash, or somebody would race a horse.
Right. Yeah.
This is essentially what the quarterback challenge is. But all we want to see, or at least all I want to see, is the distance throw. I just want to see how far these guys can throw the ball. I don't care about the accuracy ones. I don't care about them doing the reading of the targets and they have to choose which one to throw. I just want to see how far they can throw it.
That'd be cool.
Wow. That's all I care about.
So it'd be interesting to see quarterbacks, but like with feats of strength, you know, not so much throwing a football, but like actually maybe pulling a little Volkswagen.
Yeah, that's good. Or how about this? You got the quarterback challenge. Okay, accuracy, distance, but okay, you just threw an interception. Now make the tackle.
Right.
As the quarterback. That would be fun too. I like that. I watched one where they did something kind of cool. They paired up the all-star quarterbacks with what they called their alumni quarterbacks. These quarterbacks have been retired a year or whatever. So you had like Jake Plummer paired up with Boomer Esiason. You had, or my favorite, you had Bernie Kosar paired up with Rob Johnson. And then all the players are mic'd up. And this is, you ever want to see how unfunny athletes are on the spot, you know, mic them up, because it is pulling teeth. They're trying to be funny. It's awkward. But the funniest one is, I think Brett Favre says Kosar goes up and he's like, hey, Kosar's going to throw it overhand this year. So sometimes you get some good banter out of it, but it is funny to see. I liked it. There was one I watched where Carson Palmer trips over one of the tackling dummies and just eats shit. And it's the funniest thing ever.
All the quarterbacks are laughing at him on the side.
Yeah. And then you get to see, you remember from the late 90s, early 2000s, that one quarterback that had lightning in a bottle for 1 year. And we're all like, oh, watch out, Jeff Blake. He's good. And then we never have heard from him ever again.
Yep.
So I thought that was pretty good. Here was the funniest thing I noticed too, is Vinny Testaverde apparently holds the record for longest throw ever at 80 yards. So I'm like, oh, wow, this is the Testaverde heyday years. He gets up. He looks like he's 55 years old. And he's slinging the ball, and he's got a huge bald spot on his head. And he's throwing just bullets around, Vinny Testaverde. And then they're wearing their jerseys. But the football jersey without shoulder pads looks like they're wearing a blanket, essentially. The sleeves are all low. They're hanging off of them. And then the funniest part I found, they got them all in gym shorts. There isn't 5 seconds in between where at some point each quarterback grabs their balls and adjusts them. You can't put athletes in gym shorts and don't expect them to grab their balls every 17 seconds. It's hilarious. You got to watch it. It is truly Wild World of Sports.
Right.
I think they still have the QB challenge. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would like to. I think with the Pro Bowl thing, they're doing things like what is it, dodgeball tournaments and stuff like that. They're not that bad. They're entertaining.
Yeah, I would like to add something to the QB challenge other than distance. I got to see the distance, but I would like to see them make a tackle after an interception. Oh, this was the other interesting thing. You get to see what quarterback is just not caring about this and what quarterback is taking this seriously. They do a shot one year when Randall Cunningham is in it. They do a shot of him. They're like, they're like rolling their arms around to warm up. Randall Cunningham is doing full on stretches. And at one point he does the splits to stretch. And you're like, holy shit, Randall Cunningham is doing the splits to warm up.
Right.
So it's interesting to see who really wants to still win, who wants to compete. Brett Favre is all jokes and stuff. The like Jake Plumbers, who was the other guy that didn't belong there? Oh, Joey Harrington is there. Yeah. And he's totally fish out of water.
And what's funny is like he was laughing at Carson Palmer on the floor. I'm like, who's laughing now?
Right. It's funny. They obviously are like the new kids on the block and they don't know how exactly to act. It's you got to look it up, the quarterback challenge, and go straight to the distance thing as well. Pretty enjoyable. I think we should bring that back. I'd like them to make a tackle after an interception. That was the final challenge. That would be fun. The QB challenge. I do love that. Any final thoughts on the Eli Manning argument? He's got final bragging rights. He's white whale. This is his legacy.
He's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. What's the Hall of Fame speech from Eli Manning gonna be?
Who knows? That'd be I would venture to say it'd probably be the shortest.
Yeah, right. There's gonna be a lot of thanking of his dad, Peyton.
Cooper and Peyton.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of family. It'll be stuff like that. I can't imagine him thanking Tom Coughlin, the coach. I can't imagine him thanking a lot of teammates. I don't see the speech being very deep.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to be asking what's the Eli Manning legacy for the next 15 years too. I don't think we're ever going to come to an answer
right
on this. But here's my other, I forgot to bring this up in the week in between. We had our first, I guess you would say trade, NFL transaction.
Let me keep
changing teams. I wrote a list of all the QBs at large going into this. And then after I wrote it, we had the Jared's Goff, Matt Stafford trade. So they trade Goff to Detroit, Stafford to LA, and Detroit gets a bunch of draft picks. What's your instant reaction to just, first of all, the trade? Goff, Detroit, Stafford, LA.
Instant reaction is like, wow, that sounds like a lot. That sounds like a lot for a quarterback that's, I don't know. I think he's got a few good years left, but, there's been some injury issues in Matt Stafford. I hope his best years are not behind him, but given the time that he's been in the league, Dave, it's fair to say that his best years may have already been behind him. But he is a veteran. So offhand, you're thinking, wow, 2 first rounders, another, a future 3rd rounder, I think it was. And then your franchise quarterback, that's a lot to give. Now, in reading what the experts were saying this morning, well, apparently the Rams were in a tough spot because apparently Jared Goff's contract was just terrible on their books. It was going to put some severe constraints on them. And so this definitely helped them, free up some room, but I also read, I don't know if this is true, so I haven't verified it, that the Rams are going to go 7 years without a 1st round pick. That's insane.
Right. That's what I'm looking at it just from the details on the sports shows and stuff. And I'm like, that's a lot of draft picks. What's the future for them going to look like without draft picks? They're going to have to go heavy in trades. I don't know what their salary cap is like. They're going to have to make some big moves. And do they even send anybody to the combine? Do they even?
Detroit's I think they're they're going to have some draft stock now. But here's who the big winner is. Okay, listen, follow me here. The big winner of this trade, I think, is the Houston Texans, because now they see what they're willing to pay for Matt Stafford. What do you think they're going to ask for Deshaun Watson?
Right. This was a good opening of the market.
Oh, yeah.
We saw what each QB is worth, and now we can compare accordingly to the rest of the QBs.
And rightfully so. Deshaun Watson's going to fetch a lot more money. and the trade off is going to be a lot more picks, a lot more compensation. So I think the Texans right now are sitting pretty.
Yeah, I think Detroit is the instant winner of the trade. They get a bunch of draft picks and they get Goff, who's younger. We don't know if he's how much game he's got left in, but he is younger. So
Right.
I think they're okay. I wrote down all the QBs at large. I wrote down two categories: ones that we know are going to be somewhere else next year, and ones we're not sure of. Here's who we know is going to be somewhere next year. See if you agree or not. Deshaun Watson, Matthew
He's gone.
Stafford, we know. Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz. And
Gone.
then here are ones that we're not sure if they're going to leave or not. Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Goff, we know. Jimmy G, Cam Newton, Teddy Bridgewater, Trubisky, Winston, Fitzpatrick, Alex Smith, Ben Roethlisberger.
I think Ben Roethlisberger will stay. I think he's gonna have to start planning, and it's not gonna be Mason Rudolph, but he's gonna have to mentor his replacement at some point. I think the other guys you mentioned, I mean, I don't think they're gonna. You mentioned Cam Newton. I think he's gone. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is gone. Jimmy G, I think, is gone. It's gonna be some Bridgewater. I think is gone. Um, Alex Smith, that's an interesting one. I, I think he comes back as a backup. In Washington, if they go for a young quarterback, obviously their young quarterback didn't work out from a couple years ago in Dwayne Haskins. So I could see him mentoring a young guy coming out. Yeah, you said Goff is gone. Who else did you say that there was one that was I think going to stay?
Uh, Here's the ones, the unsure ones: Rodgers, Dak, Jimmy G, Cam Newton,
Oh,
Bridgewater.
Dak. I think Dak stays. I think that deal gets done at some point. One that was not on your list, and it all is all dependent on Deshaun Watson. I think if Miami makes the right package, Tua is going to be in that package to ship to Houston in exchange for Deshaun Watson.
Oh, that could be interesting. That'd be a tricky trade. Two AFC teams. Miami has shown the ability to part with their number one draft QB in the past.
Right.
So that is definitely in their DNA. How
Another
about
watch out. I think Jameis Winston stays. Um, in he'll at least be given the chance to fight for the starting job. I'm
you think they
surprised.
draft a QB maybe New Orleans and then they fight for the starting job?
I think they
I don't
could.
know what their draft order is, but
I think
you can
I.
see
I'm
they need someone
you,
else.
you didn't have Derek Carr on your list. Is he going to stay?
I really think he should be on this list, right? I just was looking up QB names that were on the potential move around block, and he wasn't on anything. But I definitely think he should. He has not proven himself. He's never an elite QB, so I think he should be on the list. I agree.
There's only a handful of quarterbacks, obviously, that are going to come back for sure. Kyler Murray is going to go back to Arizona. Russell Wilson's a Seattle Seahawk. Patrick Mahomes, obviously. Tom Brady, if he wants to come back, he's coming back. Josh Allen, if he wants to come back, he's coming. I mean, not if he wants to, he's going to come back. So those are the only spots that I think. Everyone else, you're on a little shaky ground. Everyone else.
Yeah, I think we're in for a long off season of QB talk, and I hope it culminates with some Aaron Rodgers controversy somewhere. Like he needs a press conference, he needs an interview where he kind of spills a little too much, and we open up the floodgates. I think that would be great.
And in that same Josh Allen type conversation, Justin Herbert is coming back as no doubt San Diego's stud starter. So
that's true. Yeah, he's Josh Allen 2 years removed potentially.
Right.
He's following up. That could be. I think we're in for an exciting offseason of trades and setting up teams based around these quarterbacks as well. The Roethlisberger one's interesting to me, whether he stays or not. I got the feeling they were on a big downslope that last month of the season. And they started off so good.
Right. It is what it is.
It's going to be a QB friendly offseason full of stories. Well, that's the off the field news. But Now that leads us into our football movie bracket winner. We took the votes this week. I took them all. There's a lot of talk. We had a lot of spirited comments that I found. But the winner of the football movie bracket for 2020, remember, we had Rudy versus Remember the Titans. The winner is Rudy.
My pick.
I know you're partial to Remember the Titans, but Rudy took the win by a handful of votes.
You know why I'm okay with Rudy is that Rudy was the ultimate underdog. You really can't say that Remember the Titans team was the ultimate underdog because they basically put two good teams together, and made a great team,
Yeah, and the Remember the Titans team was coming off like state titles, weren't they?
Right there, they had All-Americans already on there. They had, Bertier and Julius. They were already All-Americans. They had a great quarterback. Then they get, Sunshine comes in. So they had the tools already to be a success story. Rudy obviously had no tools to become a success story aside from the fact that he had heart. So I gave this a lot of thought because I think you kind of take me off saying, hey, I think you called me in the week and you said, hey, your movie's not looking too good in the voting category.
I was updating along the way, yes.
But then I got to thinking about it. If there's a movie I don't mind getting beat by, it's that one. Rudy's the best sports football movie of all time.
Yeah, it's a fair winner. When's the last time you saw the movie Rudy?
You know what? I saw it with my son not long ago, maybe about 2 months ago.
Yeah, I had to rewatch it. Once I tallied the votes, I was like, all right, I got to rewatch Rudy, which the whole movie is like a postcard, I will say. Every shot looks good. The music is great. It's a great advertisement for the School of Notre Dame. And then the story itself is great. Here's my only qualm with the movie Rudy. His parents are terrible. Rudy has a terrible family. Nobody encourages him. They think he's an idiot for essentially wanting to get into a good college. And then he gets good grades at the junior college and he goes to his dad and the dad doesn't give a shit. His dad does not care. And yet the whole time, Rudy is trying to get his dad's approval. Right. He wants his father's love, and his dad never cares until he, gets to play on the team. At some point, I'm like, why do you care about these deadbeats?
Right.
They treat you like shit. His one brother steals his girlfriend. I'm like, is this a healthy family? His only, the only like true friend, his friend, what's his friend's name? Pete or Paul is his true friend who encourages him, dies in the first 15 minutes. I forget that there's a traumatic death in this movie. I forgot about that. And in a couple good like star sightings, you have Jon Favreau is his tutor.
Okay.
And Vince Vaughn is on the football team.
Right.
Yeah. And they sort of have like we have like early Vince Vaughn, Jon Favreau. They don't have a scene together, but we have these early Jon Favreau, Vince Vaughn sort of interactions with Rudy that are pretty classic and good. So worthy movie, but I hated Rudy's family. That was my argument. So as soon as he graduates college, finally, what's the relationship like with his family?
Yeah. Who knows?
It was terrible. He had a horrible family. They didn't care. And yet he wants their approval the whole time.
Well, let's see what happens.
Well, Rudy, you are the 2020 football movie bracket winner. Deservingly so. I did like the movie. I like how he has to get good grades and work his way up. And then there was the groundskeeper guy who, for a good portion of time before The Rock was The Rock, everybody referred to that dude as The Rock. Do you remember he was in a TV show called The Rock?
Right.
Yeah. And he's in this movie.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, The Rock. He was the groundskeeper. So, Rudy, you are the winner. And that leads us into our predictions going into next week's Super Bowl.
So I can fill you in. Now, before we get to the predicting the big game, let's talk some serious prop bets here, okay?
Oh, I'm glad you brought this up. Go ahead.
Okay. MVP race, MVP pick. I guess let's say that one to the end because that's probably dealing. We'll make that prediction after we pick the Super Bowl. Okay. Um, the color of Gatorade that will be dumped on the coach. You have orange is 2-1, red at 3-1, clear water 6-1, lime yellow 7-1, purple 11-1, blue 15-1.
Oh, I'd go that 11-1 purple's a fun bet. I like that. Those are good odds, and purple is got potential. I'd take that bet. I like it at 11-1.
This year it's Florida. It's the favorite orange. I'm just thinking there's something there about orange in Florida that goes. All right. Over under number of Super Bowl commercials that will reference first responders and healthcare workers. The line is 3 right now.
Oh, 3?
3.
I like that. I like the over on that one.
I like the over too. I think it's going to be a lot more than that.
I think it's got to be 7. I would go. My pick would be
7.
Yeah, I would say we're going to be a lot of first responder commercials.
The length of time after the kickoff of the first reference to the first responders, healthcare workers in the stands. Vegas has it at 179.5 seconds. So we're talking 3 minutes.
Oh, that's tougher. Yeah. Because, so after the kickoff, when the announcers are going to reference the first responders in the stands. Okay. That's tough because we got a lot of stuff that happens after the kickoff that the announcers typically talk about.
You got to get through the starters. You got to talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady is if he's coming out to start the drive, they're going to talk Tom Brady coming out in his 10th Super Bowl. It's going to eat a lot of airtime.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna pick the over on that one.
Yeah. I would, if we're going head to head. Yeah, I'd go against you just to go against. I'd go with under. I could see them going with a big reference to it early. So as a fun bet, yeah, if you go over, I'd take the under.
The primary color of Jim Nance's tie. You can go blue, black, red, purple, or the field.
What's the field? What do you mean?
I mean, any other color aside from those 4.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. What is he worn all season? I wonder. They usually go pretty dark colors like your blues. I don't think red. I think that's not going to look, I think that's going to look weird. What's the odds on blue?
The odds on blue, it's the favorite at 3-1.
Right. 3-1. What's the highest odd one?
The, purple's at 8-1.
8-1. The winning bet is blue, I think. Purple 8-1 is enticing.
See,
I can't see Nance in purple. Can you though?
I could.
Really?
Now, this one I thought the easier one. On Tony Romo, that's the favorite at 2-1. I'm going to say he wears blue. Tony Romo blue.
Blue. That's an obvious pick too. I agree.
Over under the time of the first Giselle Mrs. Brady reference. The over under is by the end of the first quarter.
Do we know she's going to be there?
I think she is going to be there, but I have to read up on it.
Right. Yeah, the families and stuff are going to be in a press box. I would think they would. Okay, what's the over that they show her on TV?
End of first quarter.
I gotta say too,
I just have to reference her. They just have to mention her.
Just have to reference her. If she's there, she's definitely getting referenced. If she's not there, then I don't think they were. I would say I've been watching these the Manning Brady Super Bowls, and they must show Giselle 15 different times. It's great. She's there sitting with like the little kids and stuff. I motion for Giselle Cam, and we just have her in the corner all the time. Who looks better in a camera than Giselle?
I gotta look at my collection of Super Bowls. I think there's Super Bowls in which Tom Brady had nothing to do with it. They mentioned.
Hey, wouldn't you just how they do the player intros and they go like Tom Brady quarterback and they'll say, Antonio Brown receiver. I would like to see the players' wives. I just want to see the players' wives. I want to see what they look like. I want to see age difference. I love it when the player's wife is all in on the player's career. And not to sound like a total misogynist, I also like when a dude is into their wife's career too.
Right.
I just like when they encourage the spouse. So I would like to see all the starting lineup players' wives. I want to hear where they met so I can figure out if they're a trophy wife or not. I want to see who's got dyed hair, who overdoes the makeup. I
Right.
want to see who's a job is wrangling all the kids, and I want to see who is potential just side piece
Right.
player
That's
wife.
good. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Over under Tony Romo saying, "Let me tell you, Jim, it's at
Ooh.
2." How many? Let me tell
Let
you,
me
Jim.
tell you, Jim, too. I like the over. He
I like
likes
that
that
over.
phrase.
I like that over. Number of plays Tony Romo correctly predicts in advance. The over under is 2.5.
It's a Super Bowl. I'm leaning towards the under. That's hard to do. It's really hard to predict plays. So I'd go under 2.5.
Now, this is how old I'm getting. I don't know who Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan are. I don't. Maybe it's because I'm just so. I don't. Length of the national anthem. Uh, uh, 2 minutes and a half second.
Yeah, the national anthem is surprisingly short when you time it out.
Right.
As I followed this prop bet before, I don't know who those people are either.
I don't either. So
I would have to do some research because if it's one of these singers that like really hits a lot on, say, like the Rockets' Red Glare, and they'll do like a Christina Aguilera, kind of like whoa, 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 then we're talking over territory.
Right. Yeah.
At that point too.
And see, then they did a length of length of America the Beautiful by, I don't know if it's her or HER, but it's her. I don't know how that. I don't know her. Then this is the one. The Weekend is going to be the halftime show. I have very mixed feelings about this. I like his music, but I just don't know if he's done enough to be the headlining halftime show.
Mhm.
But they got him the song first performed by The Weeknd. I think it's going to be his hit, "Blinding Lights." I don't know if you've heard it. I
Yeah.
think it's been played on ESPN during their football hour. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's on heavy You think it's going to be his first song, huh?
Right. And then they're saying odds to pick somebody who comes out and performs with The Weeknd.
That's what
I
I'm
don't
thinking.
Drake, Maluma, Ariana Grande, Future, or Lana Del Rey. I don't know this one, but I'm going to go with the favorite, Drake, just because he's the favorite. So.
That's good. That's a good pick.
Okay.
Somebody's going to join him, I think, for sure, because I don't think he has the catalog.
I think exactly, and I think two people have to join him. I think it's going to be.
Yeah, we need a couple covers in here, and I would go with more. He's going to end with his hit, because if that's your big heavy hitter, I don't like you to open with that, because then the show's up. So I would go. He ends with the hit.
Who's gonna? I mean, this is not what I'm looking at right now, but who's gonna score the first points?
First points. Obvious pick is the Chiefs. They're the more high-powered offense. If the Bucks get the ball first, let's say, okay, let's think. First points. Odds got to be on the Chiefs. I'll go Bucks. I think the Chiefs didn't score first in the championship game.
Right.
So we know it's possible. So I'd go Bucks.
Okay. Let's see. Will Patrick Mahomes throw an interception?
Yeah. I'll go with yeah.
Okay.
I'll go he will.
Okay. Does this game go to overtime?
Does this game go to overtime? Odds, very rare that games go into overtime.
I think it's only been one.
I think it's only been one. You're right. No, I say no.
Will either team score in the first 5 minutes?
First 5 minutes. First 5 minutes of the yeah. Offense heavy. I say yeah. We're gonna see a score early. Super Bowl's tricky though. A lot of times they come out rusty. You're right.
Will we see a 2-point conversion attempt?
Yes. Yeah. It seems like we always have one of those.
Will we see a missed extra point?
Missed extra point. We got the Chiefs have that Butker guy. I don't know who the Buccaneers kicker is. No, I say everybody hits their extra points.
Okay, there we go. So now,
hey, what about the coin toss? Do we have a coin toss prop bet? Heads or tails?
We could. I mean, I say the Chiefs win the toss and they will defer to the Bucks. Tom Brady will get the ball first.
Okay. Here's my one coin toss story. In I think it was in high school, freshman football. We go to the we go to the center of the field for the coin toss. The referee goes to, I can't remember who it was. He goes to the other captain on the team, and who's on my team, and he says, "All right, you call the coin, heads or tails." Guy says heads. Referee flips the coin, catches it, and he goes, "It's tails. You lose the toss." And the guy goes, "Oh, I thought you were going to do this."
It's a valid argument. I mean, that's how
he did it seriously though. I thought you were going to do that. I think every player should have that in their back pocket if they have to call a coin toss and they don't win the toss.
Right.
Yeah. It's like my coin toss story.
That's why you let it hit the ground.
That's true. They let it hit the ground now to eliminate any controversy. That makes more sense. And you have to call it before he tosses it now. It used to be you called it in the air. So eliminate controversy there. Here's my one thought for the Super Bowl. I like when the Super Bowl starts and it's daylight, but by the time the game ends, it's nighttime.
It's dark.
By halftime. And this is on the East Coast. So I think we have potential for that this year.
We could.
You know, because they're going to start it a little later. They're going to start a little earlier because it's on the East Coast for West Coast viewing. So we might have potential to end at night. I always thought that was cool.
Let's see what happens.
When we end the Super Bowl at night, starting the day, end at night. All right, it's time for the final predictions. Chiefs versus Bucks. Who do you got in the Super Bowl?
I tell you, I'm rooting for the Bucks, baby. I'm rooting.
Sticking with your Bucks, huh?
I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I'm gonna go with Bucks by 4.
You're gonna go with Bucks, Brady right into the sunset win. I'm gonna go with my head over my heart here, and I'm gonna go with Chiefs. Chiefs are the new age of the NFL.
They're -3. They're -3.
They're -3. Yeah, that makes sense. I say the Chiefs pull it off by. I say that the Chiefs cover, so I'm going to say they win by 10.
Okay, that's fair.
I take it into the fourth. It's a good game.
Say this is what I want you to be looking out for. Patrick Mahomes has fallen behind in playoff games before. Okay, we saw what happened last year when he fell behind against the Texans, but the Texans had him 21-0, right? Did he fall behind this time around? Was it? I'm thinking of his games. He pretty much had it okay with Buffalo. You know, I forget who they got. It was just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Who did they play in that first game? But
Buffalo Chiefs, or before the Chiefs played Buffalo? You're saying
who did the Chiefs play?
Cleveland.
They played Cleveland.
Yeah,
and
I don't think they were behind in that game, were they?
Yeah, I think they were at some point.
Oh.
But there's been another game, I think, where Patrick Mahomes was down in playoffs. That's fine and all, but only this time, Patrick Mahomes, if you get behind, that's Tom Brady on the other side of the field, okay? So, you know, if you come out of the gate, you know, rough, so lack of a better word, Tom Brady's not going to give up a lead. So the way I think the Chiefs win is they got to pounce on Tom Brady from the very get-go. They can't afford to get behind a score, 2 scores. I think then it's over. Tom Brady in history will not cough up that win.
Yeah, don't forget the Chiefs were down 10 in the fourth quarter last year in the Super Bowl.
Okay, let's move on.
And they came back against your 49ers. Sore subject. I brought up the 1990 NFC Championship last week. I brought up the 49ers loss in the Super Bowl this week. You're just taking hits. I brought up my Raiders losing to the Buccaneers. Come on, we're rehashing some hard times. I brought up Rudy's horrible parents.
Who's going to be so with the Chiefs winning? Who's your MVP?
Mahomes. It's Mahomes' team.
I think the quarterback of either team, whoever wins, is going to be the MVP.
Yeah, the QB, unless a receiver has a phenomenal game. Tyreek Hill. Does Tyreek Hill return punts or kickoffs? If he does and he scores a touchdown, then he could be the MVP.
That could be something.
I don't think he returns them though.
He can. It kind of like that old was it Desmond Howard? Didn't he win it?
Right, Desmond Howard got it.
Guy, yeah.
Yeah. That's another interesting rewatch of a Super Bowl, because without the Desmond Howard touchdowns,
Patriots may
that
win
game is way closer.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
not like Favre has an amazing game in that Super Bowl. So that's an interesting rewatch as well. How about this? Will we see a touchdown pass from a non-QB in the Super Bowl? Will we see a running back pass, a wide receiver pass?
You never know with Andy Reid.
Right. Andy Reid. I could see we have a Kelsey pass type of thing.
It could happen. That could happen.
If that prop bet's out there, I go yes on that one.
That'd be an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we have a week, or next week we'll be talking about the Super Bowl and its results. So we got a lot to ponder. We still don't know if we're gonna have some NFL moves going on this week.
Yeah.
We're gonna figure out who's in the Hall of Fame.
There's a lot going on.
Well, that wraps it up for next week. Super Bowl, Tampa Bay Bucks versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Omar Carmona, thank you. Thank you, Rudy, for winning the Super Bowl or the playoff bracket. And we will see you next week at the Super Bowl. See you then, man.
Take care, bud.
That is it. That is the show. That is the week. That is the Sunday night talk for the week leading up to the Super Bowl. Are you pumped? Are you prepping? Do you care? What do you do leading up to the Super Bowl? What are you eating? That's a main question as a viewer. What are you eating? How do you stagger it? Do you start early? Do you hit the main course at halftime? Dessert. What do you do with dessert? I have a lot to think about now. Also, go check out my other show on the YouTube channel, Running It Back. This week, I talked with Robert Pitty. The episode is up. Go listen to it. Check him out. That was a great conversation. We talk Seattle. We talk his parents. We play the Rotten Tomatoes game. Fun interview. You should listen to it. And don't forget, February 19th and 20th, you can see me doing live stand-up comedy. That's right. I said live in an actual comedy club. Salt Lake City, coming your way. Details also coming. So if you're in the area, you can see me doing comedy. Should be fun. That is the Sunday night talk. We have a week before the biggest game of the season. Woo! Can't wait. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you, Omar Carmona, for joining me, lending me his insight. Thank you, Rudy, for winning the bracket. We'll see you next week, everybody, for the Super Bowl. Bye-bye.